I'm Katrina, and this is Sow and Tare. Today we're going to be transplanting some plants, and I have tomatoes I'm going to be planting today. Now my tomatoes are a little bit leggy, but that'll be okay. They actually ended up growing past their light source in where I started the seeds. And I should have planted them a while ago, but we had a really hot snap, and then we had a really cold snap, and then it was hot again. So I feel okay about planting it now. Now, whenever I transplant anything, I like to put mycorrhizae in with it. So this time I just got this off of Amazon. There'll be a link in the description. But this is mycorrhizae. Mycorrhizae is a fungus that has a symbiotic relationship with plants, and when you buy like a mix of mycorrhizal fungi, I always think it's a good idea to get ones with a lot of different species in them. And what that will do is some species are better suited for like tomato family, or some species are better suited for, you know, other different families. And that way you only need to use one in your garden. You don't have to like say, oh, which one am I going to use this time? Mycorrhizae forms naturally as well, or not forms, mycorrhizae grows naturally as well, and I'll put in a clip here from a different video that I'm working on about mycorrhizae, and you can make it with wood chips, you can make it, you know, all sorts of different ways, but there's it's just an interesting thing to put in your garden with your plants. And what this does is the mycorrhizae can go into cracks between the soil that the roots can't fit in. And so in exchange for things like the sugars from photosynthesis that the plants give the mycorrhizae will go out in search of those nutrients. So it makes it a team, right? It makes your plants a lot healthier. So they're finding that this is a fungal network that's seen in forests, and we're really just starting to understand what this is, and it's really a connecting force that, I mean, it communicates between the plants. I need this, and it goes out and gets it. So I'm going to be inoculating them with that. And then I'm going to be adding two more things, which I haven't added in the past. One is rabbit manure, which I've added on the surface just this last year. And this time I'm actually going to put into the hole. So I have a whole bunch of that, and I actually have some that's composted down a little bit. And so that's going to go into the hole. Rabbit manure is a cold manure that you can put directly in the hole with your plants, on your plants. All of that is not going to burn it like a chicken or quail manure would, a bird manure. So I'm going to put that in there. And then I've heard of people doing this. I might as well do it because I do have extra eggs. I'm going to put some quail eggs that I will crack in each hole as well, and that'll be good for them. Now I have some pretty lanky plants for tomatoes, and that is fine because every hair, I'll show you guys, I'll show you. Alright, I'll show you guys on this one. You see all those hairs, all that stuff that's reflecting in the light? Each one of those hairs, all the way up the stem, right? Those have the potential to become roots. So what I like to do, and what I've always done, is to bury them sideways with the tip sticking up. And what that does is we have roots already started in these, and these bootstrap farmer trays are great because you can bottom water. So they already have roots, but you can make even more roots. And most of your garden plants are going to have a lot more nutrients and water available to them within the first, layer of the soil. They're not going to be going down super deep. So the more roots you have for a plant in that top layer, the better. And this is a way to kind of cheat the system for tomatoes, is to plant them horizontally and then have the tip sticking up. When you do that, you take off the leaves of the part that you're going to be planting, and it works really well. So that's what we're going to do. I just want to do the intro in the shade. So that's what I'm going to do here. I'm probably not going to plant all these. I'll probably give some away, and we'll go from there. I have 4 different types that I'm going to be planting. I have Cherokee Purple, which is my absolute favorite. I love the dark tomatoes. I just love them. Black Crim, which is also a dark one. It's a very dark purple one. Pineapple tomato. I planted this a few years ago, and it's just a tomato. It's a good tomato, but it is a yellow tomato, so the birds don't think they're ripe, you know, if you have them. I'm going to plant them in the front yard, which we'll see how that works this year. And so people might not know that they're ripe. And then another one is a true black Brandywine, which is also another deep purple tomato. Now, I chose these because I want them to be successful. I've experimented with some in the past. Last year I did a lot of experimentation, and I just want things to grow that I know grow well and produce well and produce good fruits. You notice I'm not doing any paste tomatoes. Paste tomatoes are fine, but I make all of my tomato sauce, all of my spaghetti sauce, all of that, you know, that you end up canning and stuff, out of the regular tomatoes. They're not regular. A lot of these are heirloom. But a lot of these things, they're not thick with like paste tomatoes, but they are more flavorful than paste tomatoes. And when you cook that down, you end up with a more flavorful sauce. So I've chosen to do that. I thought that tomato paste, you had to use paste tomatoes, you know, originally, and then I'm like, well, that's not what I have. I have these other tomatoes. So I use that. The only one that doesn't work quite well with is like cherry tomatoes that are really sweet. Those I like to dehydrate. And I'm not planting those because I already have them, so they planted themselves. I haven't planted cherry tomatoes in years because they keep planting themselves. So that's what we're going to do today, and we'll go get set up where we're going to put it at a new trellis that we just put up yesterday. I'll put a link to the video of a different trellis build, but this one was easier because we didn't have a triangle. So so you know how to do that. And then I haven't done it yet, but I will, gonna put an arch in over the front walkway, and I'll be putting tomatoes at the base of that as well, and hopefully people won't steal them. We shall see. All right, thank you, and I hope you enjoy this video. One more thing before we get started. This is the Mycorrhizae. I just put it in an old cinnamon container. It's easier to sprinkle on then, which is my preferred way of application. This is a little granular. The one I had before was a powder. We'll see how this works. I'm going to start with Brandywine. You can see these roots just come right out, and this is because they've been watered. All I do is squeeze this a little bit, get the bottom, and pull it out. And I might have a little root loss down here. Try and kind of weave it out. There we go. Look at those roots. You can do this on store-bought plants too. Separate them. And all you need to do is gently pull it apart. There you go. The first thing to do is, if you have weeds, this is just the Love in the Mist. If you have weeds in the area that you're going to plant, just pull just around the area. You can actually lay it down as a mulch after. But I am going to put this right here. So I'm going to go ahead and dig my hole right here. Alright, so I'm just going to take 3 of my eggs and crack them in there. Just get a little oomph to the soil. Rabbit poop. Now, I'm going to take this tomato and strip these leaves. And this part is the part that this part is the part that's going to be above ground. So I need a hole that long, which means I need a longer hole. All right, hold up. Okay, I'm just going to mix this stuff that I put in further down. Mix it all in. There we go. Now, here's our tomato, all the roots. Make sure the roots are covered nicely. And I always put this end, you see that? I always put the up end towards the trellis. And that's it. There it is. The roots go all the way over to here, and I just put some of the stuff as a mulch on top. And then that is that. Now it's going a little sideways now, but in the next couple days it'll start reaching for the sun and going up. So you don't need to change anything about that. If you're worried about it, you can prop it up, but you don't need to. So that one is done. Cherokee purple. Next up, I think I'm just going to do a lot of Cherokee purple here and black crim on this trellis. Guys, I forgot this. Okay, I'm going to uncover it. Sprinkle it on. Well, go do the other side. And kind of mix it in and rebury it. And we're done. I'm going to be planting on both sides of the trellis so that they have root room on both sides, and then they'll have to share the trellis, but that's how I'm going to do it. A few eggs. Rabbit manure. And here's my plant. Again, break off the lower leaves. And there's a plant with these wonderful roots. And don't forget the Mycorrhizae. There we go. Second one done. Here's the next one. You can see one's smaller, one's larger. We're just going to plant both of them. You can just plant the larger ones if you want, but they should both do well. You can see that one has some good roots on it. Now this one, because it's so small, I'm just going to plant it deep. I think that will be helpful to the plant. Well, maybe not. I'll plant it outside. Put the little guy here. Ooh, that's a lot. That's okay. I have this one, so we're just gonna do 5 of these. So I have one from that other one, and then this one. All right, there's some eggs. Some rabbit manure. Mix it up. I don't even think you have to mix it up, but I did. All right, so this is my water line. There's another water line over here. And I just want to set this on. Make sure all my roots are covered. Take off the extra guys. And cover it up. That's where I kept planting my sugar cane last year. Hopefully it's not there anymore. I dug it up. You know what I did? Forgot the Mycorrhizae again. Ooh, that's a lot. Okay. Now we can bury it. There we go. So as I'm doing this, I need to be cognizant about some plants that I have in here that I want to keep. This right here is a bouillon bush. The leaves taste like chicken bouillon. It's pretty cool. But it's been in here several years, and it's kind of just starting to get growing this last year. So I want to make sure that that continues to perform for me. Now, by doing this vertical trellis, I can have the tomatoes go up, and this way is the southern facing. So this should still get enough light with the tomatoes trellised. That's my goal anyway. All right, so let's put this last cherry hue purple in. We'll go from there. All right, here's the last of the Cherokee purple. Bottom leaves off. Put it in. Actually going to put more dirt right there to get a little closer this way. Mycorrhizae. And that one's done. Take some of this stuff that I pulled, put it over here just as a little barrier. Now, this Mycorrhizae is activated by water. So when you water it, that's when it's going to start taking. So we have 5 Cherokee purples in here, and I'm going to do the next with black crim, and then the other trellis will get the other 2. I think I'll let you guys skip this next part and we'll come back for the trellis part. One thing that I wanted to mention is that I do have this trellis up a couple feet. It'll sprawl until that point, but once it's up here, you can tie it on here. You don't even really have to tie it. You can just tuck it in and weave it in and out of these kettle panel spaces. And it works really well as a trellis. I know a lot of people tie their tomatoes up, but I see no need for that when you can just weave it through the cattle panel. So that's what I do. Other people do other things, and that's okay. It all works. All right, on to the next one, and I'll see you guys in a bit. So it has been 4 or 5 days since I planted these, but I wanted to show you that they really do start to turn up. So there's that one. All of them are doing well. So you can see there's a little bit of transplant shock, but that one has turned up, and so have these. So these are all turned up, reaching for the sun, and doing well. Here is the cattle panel trellis that I made for the other sets of tomatoes. I'm going to be planting the pineapple tomatoes closer, and then further away I'll do the Brandywine. Let me show you what's going on. So again, we have this couple foot gap from the bottom to the top. It's actually a little more. I did it a little higher just to make the arch a little higher. It is our main entrance. And then also in the future I may put a raised bed here, and that will come up a little bit. So I just wanted to be doing this once and only once, and then we can go from there. Thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoy planting tomatoes.